Hello boys, welcome to all of you in online class. Here I'm with your physics class and we were continuing with our chapter 11, current electricity, and I think you have already known about that from the beginning of the April you are going to participate on your first quiz exam. So on our first quiz, as we have this chapter, current electricity, and we are just at the end portion of this chapter, almost at the end portion of this chapter. And on our last class we were discussing about combination of resistor or equivalent resistor, and on this topic of equivalent resistance, we have known about two formation of resistors. First one is series circuit and another one is parallel circuit. I think you can recall the terms over here, that in series circuit all the resistors are given in a circuit. By adding the value of all resistors, we get the equivalent resistors of that circuit. And I have told another important point over here, that in case of series circuit, the current passing through the all resistor will be same. But if we want to say about parallel circuit, what is the way of determining the equivalent resistance for parallel circuit? By taking the all reciprocal terms of all resistors, and then by adding them we just get the equivalent resistor for parallel circuit. And another important point for parallel circuit is that in case of parallel circuit, the total current or main current will not always be same for all branches of resistors. For example, we just can consider a simple series circuit. This one is an example of series circuit, and here are three resistors, R1, R2, R3. And if we want to say about parallel circuit, what is parallel circuit? All the resistors that are connected in a parallel circuit, or the starting point of all resistors is connected to one common point, and ending point of all resistors are connected to another point. This is parallel circuit. And we can recall the equation for series circuit. The what is the equivalent resistance for this series circuit is just by adding them we get the equivalent resistance. And in case of parallel circuit, by taking the reciprocal terms of all resistors and by adding them, finally we get the parallel one. By adding them and making the reciprocal value of the total result, we will get the equivalent resistance for a parallel circuit. But what is the case of combinational circuit? What is combinational circuit? That kind of circuit where parallel combination and series combination are combined together. For example, if I draw a combinational circuit where the parallel circuit and parallel combination and series combination are present here. For example, this is a combination of both series and parallel circuit. How we can say it a combinational circuit? If you just look at the alignment of these resistors, here two resistors, for example this is R1, this is R2, R3, R4 and R5. We can denote all this as R1, R2, R3, R4, R5. In case of series circuit, we have learned that if the end point of first resistor is connected to the starting point of second resistor, if the alignment is such that, then we can call it as series circuit. So if we look here, R1 and R2 are in series combination, but what about R3, R4 and R5? We have learned that if the all starting point are at a common point and all ending point of all resistors are connected to another point, then that is called a parallel circuit. So here in case of R3, R4, R5, these three resistor, their starting point are a single point. That means this is the starting point for all these three resistors, and their ending point are also single point or common point. যদি এমন হয় যে সবগুলো যে রেজিস্টরগুলো কানেক্টেড আছে তাদের এক প্রান্ত সবগুলো একটা বিন্দুতে কানেক্টেড বা একটা পয়েন্টে কানেক্টেড, যদি দেখে থাকো যেহেতু এটা কন্ডাক্টিং ওয়্যার দিয়ে কানেক্টেড, তো এই পয়েন্টটা এখানে সবগুলো মিলে এই পয়েন্টে যুক্ত, আবার এই রেজিস্টরগুলোর এন্ডিং পয়েন্ট সবগুলো একই জায়গায় একসঙ্গে ওয়্যার দিয়ে কানেক্টেড। সো এটাকেও একটা কমন পয়েন্ট হিসেবে কনসিডার করতে পারি। সো R3, R4, R5 এগুলোকে আমরা বলতে পারি প্যারালাল কম্বিনেশন আছে। তো এই একটা সিম্পল সার্কিটে বা একটা সিঙ্গেল সার্কিটে যে সিরিজ কম্বিনেশনও রয়েছে, প্যারালাল কম্বিনেশনও রয়েছে। সো এই ধরনের সার্কিটকে আমরা কিভাবে সিম্পলিফাই করব? ফর এক্সাম্পল, if we assume that all the resistors are having same values, means R1, R2, R3, R4, R5, all are of equal values, and that is 2 ohm. প্রত্যেকটা রেজিস্টরের মান যদি 2 ohm হয়, then how can we simplify this circuit? এই ধরনের সার্কিট যখন আমরা সিম্পলিফিকেশন করব, অন দ্যাট কেস আমরা যে কোনো একটা সার্কিটের একটা এন্ড থেকে ক্যালকুলেশন শুরু করব। ইফ ফর আওয়ার কনভিনিয়েন্ট ইন ক্যালকুলেশন উই ক্যান স্টার্ট ইট ফ্রম দ্য এন্ড অফ দ্য সার্কিটের এন্ডে এসে R5, R4, R3 all these three resistors are connected in parallel. So তাদের আমরা যদি ইকুইভ্যালেন্ট রেজিস্ট্যান্স বের করতে চাই, that means R3 parallel R4 and parallel R5. So equivalent resistors for these three, if we consider is at Rp, then what is the equivalent resistance? 1 by R3 plus 1 by R4 plus 1 by R5, as these are connected in parallel. So by inserting the values over here and taking the LCM of this combination, this is 2, now we can get the ultimate result for 1 by Rp is equals 3 divided by 2, and we want to know the value of only Rp. By inverting it, we get the value will be 2/3 ohm. We have to write down the unit over here, 2/3 ohm. Rp is equals 2/3 ohm. So we have got the value of Rp, or the equivalent resistance for all three resistors. So এই তিনটা রেজিস্টরের পরিবর্তে যদি ইকুইভ্যালেন্ট হয় 2/3 ohm, আমরা এখন সার্কিটটাকে সিম্পলিফাইড ওয়েতে লিখতে পারি। এই তিনটা রেজিস্টরের পরিবর্তে একটা রেজিস্টর আমরা পেলাম 2/3 ohm, R2, R1 তো থাকছেই। সো এখন যদি আমরা খেয়াল করি, নাও লুক এট দ্য সার্কিট, these three resistors are in series. প্রত্যেকটার শেষের প্রান্তে পরেরটা প্রথম প্রান্তটা যেহেতু কানেক্টেড, these trees are all in series combination. So এই যেহেতু তিনটা সিরিজ কম্বিনেশনে রয়েছে, by adding the values of all this resistor, simply we can get the total resistor of this circuit. For example, the total resistor is RT, then what will be the total resistor? R1 plus R2 plus Rp. As these are connected in series, so R1 is equals 2 ohm, R2 equals 2 ohm, and Rp is equals 2/3. Then we get 4 plus 2/3 or 3, and it will be 16 by 3. Sorry, 14 by 3. 14 by 3. The total resistance for this circuit, that will be 14 divided by 3 ohms. You have to write down the unit over here. So in this way we can measure the equivalent resistance, total equivalent resistance for a combinational circuit where both the series and parallel combination are present. And I want to give a homework for you. Sorry guys. This is a circuit. You have to determine the equivalent resistance for this circuit as homework, and you have to show it step by step. That means as you're making the calculation, you're doing the calculation, you have to show it in a step by step. This is a combinational circuit where series and parallel both kinds of combination is present over here. The first resistance is of 2 ohm, 3 ohm, 4 ohm, 5 ohm. This one is 6 ohm, 7 ohm, and last one is of 8 ohm. Here I have used 7 resistors in this circuit. First one is 2 ohm, 3 ohm, 4 ohm, 5 ohm, 6 ohm, 7 ohm, and 8 ohm. You have to, for HW, you have to determine the equivalent resistance for this circuit. Only you have to determine the equivalent resistance for this circuit. And I think you can make a practice, and by practicing you will be able to simplify any kind of complicated circuit. And if you don't able to identify the equivalent one, then I will try to make a solution on the next class. But first of all, you have to make a trial for this one, and you have to submit on it as a HW copy. I think you are informed that after the end of each month you have to submit your HW and CW copies for the checking of your teachers, and that means after January you have to submit all the CW and HW copies of total month of January. So don't forget to make a note, or don't forget to complete your CW and HW work. So if we have known about the resistor and combinational circuit, then we will just move back to our previous topic. That means we were trying to know about circuit, and we were trying to determine the potential for different points of a circuit, potential or potential difference. For example, there is a circuit on your book. If you just follow on the question, determine the voltage at the points A, B, C, and D of the circuit in figure 1. Here are 4 points A, B, C, and D. D, C, and D points are connected to the ground, and the ground can be symbolized just like this one, and sometimes ground is symbolized just like this also. So you have to determine the potential of voltage or potential of point A, B, C, and D. So directly we can say that as A is connected to the positive terminal of the battery, then the potential of A is 3 volt, and C and D are connected to the ground connection. That means they are connected to the ground, so their potential is directly 0 volt. So the left one is B. We have to determine the potential of B. So between A and B there is a resistor. At first we have to measure the total current of this circuit. So for measuring the total current, we have to determine the total resistance of the circuit. Here are 2 resistors, and as you can see, these resistors are connected in series. So total resistance of the circuit is RT is equals R1 plus R2, that means 1 plus 2, that means 3 ohms. So as we get the total resistance, what will be the total current? I is equals to V divided by RT. That means we will get the total current over here, as the voltage is 3 volt, total resistance is 3 ohm, and total current will be 1 amps. So we have got the total current of the circuit is 1 amps, and this current will pass through these resistor. So there will be a voltage drop across these resistor. So what amount of voltage are dropping over here, we can determine by the equation V is equals Ri, where I is the total current, but R is the resistance of this branch only, not the total resistance. যখন একটা নির্দিষ্ট রেজিস্টারের অ্যাক্রসে কারেন্ট আমাদের ভোল্টেজ ড্রপ কতটুকু হলো বের করতে হবে, তখন আমাদের ফার্স্ট জব হলো টোটাল কারেন্ট বের করা, যেটা আমরা বের করেছি 1 amps, এবং দেন এই রেজিস্টারের অ্যাক্রসে কতটুকু ভোল্টেজ ড্রপ হলো সেটা মেজার করার জন্য আমাদের কি করতে হবে, V সমান Ri from the Ohm's law. V is equals Ri, and here R is the resistance of this branch, not the total resistance, and the resistance of this branch is 1 ohms. Then V is equals 1 volt. That means এই রেজিস্ট্যান্সের অ্যাক্রসে যতটুকু ভোল্টেজ ড্রপ করবে, ফল হবে, সেটা হচ্ছে 1 ভোল্ট পরিমাণ। সো আমাদের জেনারেটিং ভোল্টেজ ছিল 3 ভোল্ট, 1 ভোল্ট এই রেজিস্টরের অ্যাক্রসে ড্রপ করলো, তাহলে বিতে কতটুকু ভোল্টেজ যাবে, 3 minus 1 volt. That means the potential of point B will be 2 volt. Okay, I think you have understood this circuit and the ways of determining voltage or potential for every point. There is another circuit in here, determine the voltages at point A, B, C, and D and E. Just like the same way we have determined the potential of this point. In here the difference is that here is a branch B, after branch of resistor after B, but the ending point of E, this resistor is not connected to the main circuit. So what will be the potential of B? Exactly that amount of potential will be for E, because after this through this resistor no current is passing, or current will not get any way to pass through this resistor, because the circuit is not completed over here. So you can measure the potential of B just like this one, and what will be the potential of B? Exactly that potential will be for point E. And as here are 3 resistors are connected in series, as you can see this is a series combination, so total resistance, for determining total resistance we will just add all the resistors over here. And I think by this way you can measure the potential or voltage for point A, B, C, D and E. And if you just make a trial for doing this, if you have problem, if you face problem, then just let me know that. Okay guys, on our next class we will try to discuss some other circuits, and into this class I have discussed only about series circuit containing series combination. These 2 circuits are of series combination of resistors, but on our next class we will try to look some parallel combination also. How can we determine the voltage for parallel circuit, or how can we determine the current for parallel circuit? So guys, have a nice time and enjoy your study, and make prepared for all kind of tests. And that's all for now. Thanks to all.